Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. The Smackdown side of things as it pertains to the road to Wrestlemania is already a huge, gigantic mess. We have not even hit the Elimination Chamber, and as we are on this road to Wrestlemania, it feels like we are trapped on a one-lane dirt road. Everything's all bumping around like this, and nothing feels smooth, nothing feels good, everything's uncomfortable, and the whole time right in front of you is a truck full of manure that you can't get past, and it's all on the bumpy ride too, and it's hitting all the same bumps that you're hitting. But what else it's doing is it's throwing a whole bunch of shit right at your face, and you can't protect yourself because even though you're in your favorite convertible, you can't get the drop top to raise up to protect you from the onslaught of shit that the WWE just keeps throwing at you while you're trying to be excited on this really cool road, a road that you've been on many times before in your life and had a great time. Now this road trip is like a trip straight through a fever dream from hell, and we are going to talk about it right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare, and you are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's Suck Down on Fox review and reaction show. Let's do it.
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
It's been just a little over 24 hours since the super shitdown in Saudi Arabia ruined the road to WrestleMania and everything going forward on SmackDown. I cannot even believe that they were foolish enough to pull the trigger on the two decisions that they made. I cannot believe that they are foolish enough to do absolutely nothing to make you even care even this much. Tonight on SmackDown, we started two stories that we all knew were coming, that none of us really want to see, and they did nothing but tell you what's going to happen. There's no build. There's no build. Roman Reigns came out tonight and he wanted to confront Bill Goldberg. And he said, I'm next. And so the match was made. We're not putting Roman Reigns in an elimination chamber versus 5 other viable contenders, 5 other possibilities, not giving us any intrigue, not giving us any reason to tune into the elimination chamber at all as it pertains to the men. And then you got John Cena showing up telling us, hey, listen, I'm not going to show up at WrestleMania this year because it's all about the future. I listen to the fans. I hear what you're saying. And you might want me here, but what I'm doing is what's best. We're looking out for the future. So I'm going to sit this one out. And then he gets confronted by Bray Wyatt. And Bray Wyatt, as the Fiend, doesn't say a word, doesn't attack John Cena, doesn't do what we all assume he's going to do and wrap him up in a mandible claw and start this road that we don't want to be on. He points. Now, I know The Undertaker has pointed at the sign and that's a whole thing for your WrestleMania match, but you just lost the Universal Championship in 3 minutes to a 53-year-old Hall of Famer, and your attention and your focus is worried about getting retribution for a WrestleMania match that happened fucking 6 years ago, but you don't care about what happened last night. That's what I'm supposed to buy into. I don't think so, man. Roman Reigns and Bill Goldberg, who gives a shit? It's for the Universal Championship, great. And you know what? All your criticisms are valid. Anything that you feel that makes you feel like this is a piece of shit match, it's true. It's true. You could add it to the list. But it's not that Bill Goldberg's a 53-year-old Hall of Famer that's the worst part of this whole thing. It's not that they sacrificed the Fiend's character and made him look like a fool and pretty much threw in the trash everything that they did to build the Fiend up into this fantastic character. That's not even the worst thing about it. The worst thing about it is the fact that it was all done to appease Vince McMahon so that he can once again try to place the big dog at the top of the yard once again. And we're supposed to be so stupid. You're supposed to be just a brain-dead, idiot, mouth-breathing fan sitting there just watching. Just watching. It's just a show. It's just a show. If I'm not made to care, or if I'm not supposed to care, why am I even tuning in if you don't care? You have to be invested. There has to be reason for you to care. You don't give me any of that. You don't give me any of that. You give me the Fiend pointing. You give me John Cena giving a little tippity-doo with a hat to the Fiend. And you get Roman Reigns just coming out and proclaiming he's next in line. And these are the big matches at WrestleMania. Everybody get excited. Everybody get excited. None of it gets me excited. I know for the most part it's not getting you excited. And I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that, oh, well, this is a better match because it's going to give Roman a better reaction from the crowd. What better reaction? Were you guys deaf tonight, or was I hearing things? Was I imagining what I heard as Raw opened up? I'm sorry, this was not Raw. Raw was bad, but it was not this bad. SmackDown opened up tonight with Bill Goldberg hitting the ring. And he just throws the Fiend completely under the rug. He doesn't give him any sort of time of day. Like it never even happened. He says, I'm not worried about who was last. All I want to know is who's next. And then, bam, Roman, who cares? He starts coming down to the ring. People initially start cheering, but once the music dies down and they're standing there face to face, there was a very clear "you both suck" chant from the crowd in Boston tonight, and I appreciate that, and I want that to continue. If you don't want to put your support behind Bill Goldberg, just shit all over this match, because it is awful, it is unnecessary, and it has been detrimental to the state of the modern professional wrestling world. Continuing to go back to these retired, barely part-timers and sacrificing everybody that's there all year long, busting their ass, risking their very life to entertain the masses. It's got to stop. Or else, what are we going to do in 20 years when there are no legends? We're going to have 73-year-old Bill Goldberg in there versus a 50-something-year-old John Cena, and I'm supposed to be giving his shit. Like, what is going to happen if you don't build the future? That's going to be our destiny. We're going to keep digging up guys like Triple H to battle young guys like a Gargano or a Ciampa in the future because they're going to have nobody else to fight. You're going to keep dragging The Undertaker down to the ring until the man stops breathing. How do you expect to sustain this company if all you want to do is put all the attention on people that are past their prime? And it's happening in both scenarios. I don't give a shit that John Cena is the younger of the two. John Cena has become everything that he accused The Rock of being when they were on that build between The Rock and John Cena for WrestleMania. Oh, I'm always here. I will never leave. I will always be a WWE superstar. And then where has he been for the last year? In Hollywood, just like The Rock, trying to get his acting shit off the ground. Talk about a hypocrite. Then the guy comes back. John Cena's back. He says he doesn't want to be in WrestleMania and then gets baited into a match because a maniac in a clown mask points at a sign. This show sucks. This show sucks. This company sucks. The whole trajectory of WrestleMania, outside of Drew McIntyre versus Brock Lesnar, has gone completely downhill. Completely downhill. The best possible way they could maybe save this is take these two matches and make them one. Make it an elimination fatal four-way. The Fiend, John Cena, Goldberg, and Roman Reigns. Get it over with all at once. This way certain guys don't have to lose. You can keep John Cena looking great. You can keep Roman looking great. And you can have Bray Wyatt pin Goldberg at WrestleMania to get his championship back. Great. That's best case scenario, and that's wishful thinking of the highest order. It'll never happen. There was nothing that happened on this show tonight worth anybody's attention. We had a rematch scheduled for Bayley versus Naomi. Non-title rematch. But it barely even gets started before their shenanigans. Bayley calls out Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks returns to Boston, her hometown, and gets a huge, gigantic reaction, which is great. It's to be expected. But she's the heel. She shouldn't be getting these type of reactions. You give them a pass because it's her hometown. But them booking the baby faces to go over against Sasha Banks here tonight was a bad move. Absolutely bad. You're not going to get somebody like Lacey Evans over with Sasha Banks in the ring in her hometown. Lacey Evans, by the way, bam, bam. I suck at wrestling. I can't do a plancha. I don't deserve to be a champion. Blah, blah. Do I have to even go into the fact that this girl stuck out like a sore thumb in this match as the least ready for the position that she is being put in? I'm not going to sit here and shit all over her and tell you that she's a terrible wrestler because you kind of know that just by watching. I'm not going to shit all over how terrible the transition of her character has been because you all already know that, so I don't have to tell you any of those things. But I will tell you that I have zero interest in anything going on in this women's division. Zero. Do I give two shits about Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley? No. Do I care at all about whoever it is they are going to come up with to put it up against Bayley at WrestleMania? No. There's only one story that needs to be told, and it's the story of Sasha Banks. And how she needs to be moved away from Bayley just as much as we need Becky and Charlotte kept apart. It's just been too much. It's been oversaturated. The girl's first night back, she gets thrown into a tag team match. She doesn't even get her own prime spotlight. She gets thrown into a tag team match. And then, for what? For what? For her to end up losing to Lacey Evans and Naomi. Why? Why? Is Sasha Banks going to be in the Elimination Chamber? She certainly should. Lacey Evans is definitely going to be, if they even do one now. I don't know if they're going to even do one for the SmackDown women. They've been hinting at it. I don't know how else they're going to get their contender for the champion by WrestleMania since they already burned out the Naomi match that they could have been building towards. I have no idea what they're going to be doing here. But I'm almost willing to bet everything that by the time it's all said and done, bam, bam, I'm going to WrestleMania, bam, bam. You watch. You watch. This match was sloppy and not that great to watch at all. An impromptu tag team matchup made after the singles thing. It's a very SmackDown Teddy Long thing to do. The match is going to continue as a tag team match, and I still really didn't care all too much. I was surprised that they would even have Bayley and Naomi competing tonight following just being in Saudi Arabia a few hours ago last night. Like, they're all jet lagged, and why demand so much? Why not just have Bayley come out, cut a promo, start to establish who her next contender is, let all the girls fight amongst theirself or something of that nature, instead of what you did tonight, which was just forced, and it was shit. It was garbage. It was nothing worth watching. It was boring. Absolutely boring stuff. All night long, we had John Cena video packages highlighting all of the moments in his career that made me want him to go away. So to me, not the best way to spend my Friday evenings, reliving not just some of the worst moments of last night, but having to relive a career of a guy I have never really been a fan of ever since he turned squeaky clean Mr. USA, I'm here for the kids and the Make-A-Wish John Cena. That's just not my type of wrestler that I go for. I like a guy with edge, not just a guy named Edge. I like guys with character and edge and with that little badass little twinge to them. I'm a heel type of a person. That's just the type of characters I'm attracted to. So I've never been a fan of Mr. Vanilla John Cena. Just never have been, and I probably never will be. I respect everything the man has done in this business. I don't think it was deserved. I think it was more out of necessity, and he stepped up to the plate and he hit a home run with it. So now we're stuck with him for life. But I don't need to see all these moments here again. One of many poop hammers on this night. We could dish these out to almost every single segment if we're being honest, but I want to throw this out for Robert Roode defeating Kofi Kingston tonight in a matchup that happened for reasons that are unbeknownst to any of us, and perhaps it would have been smarter for the dumbasses that write this show to have the Miz and Morrison segment here and this singles match later on in the evening. Because you see, this matchup is sort of a precursor to the announcement that we are going to get later on, which is going to be the Elimination Chamber for the men this year is going to be for the tag team division. The sad, pathetic tag team division. And we are going to have 5 teams that have no business even looking at the tag team championships. Well, let's be honest, 4 teams, because we got to take the New Day out of there. The New Day are the former champions, so if any of the teams deserve a shot to get it back at the Chamber, it would definitely be the New Day. But Roode and Ziggler, what have they done to deserve a championship opportunity? Heavy Machinery has been doing nothing but drooling all over Mandy Rose for the last few weeks, so they've barely been wrestling, and they don't deserve a tag team championship opportunity. The Lucha House Party, do I even need to highlight? Where have they even been? I thought they went to AEW. I thought they decided to be Rey Fenix and Penta. Why? Why? A useless Elimination Chamber match for a useless division of tag teams. And I don't understand what it is about the Miz and Morrison. They come out and they're acting like a couple of clowns. And is that like a prerequisite? Do you have to sign when you decide to become tag team champions and you're getting the push tonight, you're going to win the belt? But don't forget that when you're a tag team champion, you have to act like a complete moron. You have to go out there, don't take anything seriously, gyrate your hips, wiggle around, sing songs. Don't be cool, don't be yourself, don't try to get over, just act like a complete jerk-off. Because that's what every set of tag team champions eventually do. From the New Day, all the way to everybody in between, to right now. Come on. They came out and did nothing. Miz and Morrison. And they're trying to get over a chant that is just one of the most awful chants I've ever heard. It's not rhythmic. It doesn't go together. It doesn't have a nice ring to it. It doesn't rhyme. It's just fucking awful. But they're going to keep pushing it. They're going to keep trying to get it over, and it's not. Because it's just completely awful. Just like every moment of tonight's episode of SmackDown. So in case you were wondering, in that Roode Kingston match, Bobby Roode won. Oh, shit. Imagine that. Beating Kofi Kingston for what? Did this get them the opportunity in the Elimination Chamber? Does this get them any closer to anything? No. It's just a fucking random match out of nowhere. Well, you got Kofi Kingston, a former World Heavyweight Champion, being beaten by Bobby Roode, who's champion of substance violations. I don't get it. You got Bobby Lashley, and I'm sorry, not Bobby. You got Andrade getting punished last night for his substance abuse violation, but it's all okay for Robert Roode, I guess. I don't know. They showed Mandy Rose watching this match. I don't know why she'd even be watching a match that Dolph Ziggler has something to do with if she truly doesn't give a shit about him and she's sad and feels bad about what she did to Otis. How could they be in the same building and not find each other and have a conversation like adults? A little bit ridiculous, if you ask me. After the match, they went back to Mandy, who was in the back with Sonya Deville, and Sonya Deville called Dolph Ziggler Mandy's guy. Oh, your guy won, and then they cut to Otis, the sad, fat little bulldog in the corner. Oh, I don't know if I'm ever going to get the girl. And then Taka comes on into the scene and pumps up his boy, and he's like, come on, we got to forget about Mandy. We got to get our shit together. So I assumed we were going to have a match because, why else would he be trying to hype up his boy? Like, come on, let's get it together. We got to go out there. We got to win this one for the Gipper. But then Heavy Machinery vanished and were just announced to be part of an Elimination Chamber match that nobody needs to see. Much like nobody needed to see a contract signing for Braun Strowman's Intercontinental Championship matchup with the former champion looking to regain his belt, Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm so tired of the contract signings because they never go well. This maybe was one of the better ones they have done in a while. Sami Zayn and Cesaro helped Shinsuke Nakamura gain a decisive advantage leading into this Intercontinental Championship match at the Elimination Chamber. Not at WrestleMania, mind you. This is going to be at the Elimination Chamber. But at least they're doing something, I guess, to build it. They had Sami and Cesaro and Nakamura put Braun Strowman through a table before all was said and done. So it gives you maybe a reason to think maybe Shinsuke will win it back, but we all already know that that's not going to be the case. I'm almost positive Braun Strowman will remain the Intercontinental Champion all the way up until and probably including WrestleMania and into the summer, and it's just a lost cause right now. Nobody's going to give a shit. Not that anybody has. Not that anybody truly has given a shit about the Intercontinental Championship. But it is what it is, gang. At least we didn't have to see Elias tonight. And we didn't have to see King Constable, dickhead, baldy, asshole Baron Corbin. Because he's licking his wounds from that ridiculous cage match where he barely even got any wounds. He just got a steel chain punched across his face. No visible damage when it was over. But, let him stay wherever it is he's at. We don't need him on this show. It would have only made it that much worse. The one segment on this night that I actually enjoyed and didn't piss me off to high hell was Daniel Bryan defeating Curtis Axel. Now, normally that doesn't sound like a big deal match. It sounds like a complete waste of everybody's time, and it almost was. But if you remember last week, I said it'll be interesting to see if Drew Gulak is going to continue to be a mentor to multiple people on the SmackDown roster as he tries to find the one guy that can take his tutelage and use it to stuff Daniel Bryan back into the garbage where Vince McMahon wants him to be. Drew Gulak is trying to prove that he can strategize and be smarter and better and defeat Daniel Bryan with anybody that he gets his hands on. And I liked this. I liked it last week. They're doing what I kind of had suggested. Not that they're listening to me, because even if you are and you took this idea, great. Start taking some of the other ones. But this is good. And every week leading up to WrestleMania, you can have Drew Gulak continue to pester Daniel Bryan, making him fight everybody he can get his hands on, until it finally only is Drew Gulak left, and he's just going to have to do it himself, and he will take on Daniel Bryan. It'll be a nice long build as we are leading in towards WrestleMania, and imagine maybe Drew Gulak even wins. Maybe Drew Gulak beats Daniel Bryan, and now we can start to build a new superstar. It's not out of the realm of possibility, and if they continue going down this road, I think it'll work out. Drew Gulak is tremendously entertaining as part of the commentary team as he gets more and more flustered as his representative continues to fail, but comes very close. Curtis Axel was kind of impressive here. He hung in there with Daniel Bryan, and they actually made it look like on multiple occasions in this match that Curtis Axel might actually come out with the win. But that was not going to happen. Daniel Bryan would wrap this up with a label lock, getting Curtis Axel to tap out for the win. Drew Gulak continues to remain flustered and without any victories under his belt in his quest to beat Daniel Bryan. Interesting, different, and I'm into it. It's fine. Certainly didn't make the rest of the show worth watching. I could have just looked that segment up on YouTube or on the WWE's network somewhere, or just fast forward through it on Hulu, and I would have been just as satisfied, and I wouldn't have had to sit through the rest of this ridiculous nonsense. We had The Miz and Morrison come down and do their clown show, and starts singing and dancing to the Miz's music and doing all kinds of stupid shit. Then a referee runs down to ringside, tells Greg Hamilton, the ring announcer, hey, listen, I got an announcement. I don't know who told the referee, but the referee's here to tell the world that the Miz and Morrison are going to have their first title defense at the Elimination Chamber, inside the Elimination Chamber. And they go on to announce the other teams being The New Day, Heavy Machinery, Lucha House Party, Rude and Ziggler, and the Usos. None of which, with the exception of The New Day, have any right or reason to be in a championship opportunity right now. Maybe you could make a case for the Usos, since they have been beaten up on Ziggler and Rude lately. Maybe. But that's if I decide to be a little bit generous. And we're not feeling that way right now. This would also lead to the Usos coming out and defeating the newly crowned SmackDown Tag Team Champions in less than 24 hours since they've actually procured the belts. That might be record time. Winning to losing in less than a day. The Miz and Morrison story. Why is this necessary? Especially if they are going to be defending the championship in the Elimination Chamber. Wouldn't you think it would be more wise, or more logical even, to have Miz and Morrison come out the winners tonight? Or at the very least, win by disqualification or lose by disqualification or count out while maintaining dominance and playing it as heels and taking it to the Usos. Taking out some steel chairs, trying to inflict some damage on one of the more threatening teams in this matchup. And then they could go on and explain that next week when they go out and do the same thing to the New Day on the go-home show to the Elimination Chamber. Giving them a decided advantage going in there, and then whatever it is you're going to do at the Chamber, you're going to do. You're probably going to leave them on Miz and Morrison. I don't know who else you would put them on, or why. So defeating the champions, just at this point, is useless. It's normally the laziest way to book a championship match, WWE 101, but that's not even the result here. So all of this should have happened at the beginning of the show. This way the Kofi Kingston-Robert Roode match would have made sense to be having in the first place. But at the end, it's all about a match that's about a division that sucks, a division that means nothing, a couple of tag team championships that have done nothing but collect dust around the waist of the New Day, and pretty much nothing else. So why do you care? The one men's Elimination Chamber match on the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view has zero WrestleMania implication, has zero to do with anything you're interested in, and has zero to do with the reason for you to even tune in to the Elimination Chamber. I'm not even sure of the logistics of it all. I'm pretty sure we had a tag team Elimination Chamber once before, but I thought it was a mess. And this is going to be a mess as well. 12 bodies? Just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Then the John Cena promo is how they wanted to end this show. John Cena comes out, and as we already made mention, he wanted to talk about the future. He's going to make this about the future, and he's not going to be doing WrestleMania this year. If only that were true. And then we have The Fiend, who has suffered memory loss from what happened to him last night. He forgot where he was. He forgot he was champion. He forgot he even had a match yesterday. And he shows up, stops John Cena in his tracks, just so he could point to the sign, challenge John to a match at WrestleMania to get revenge over something that happened half a decade ago, but don't give a shit about what happened yesterday, which was way more impactful. Getting beaten for a championship in your new character form. It's just unforgivable. And all of this for Bill Goldberg. And even when he comes out here tonight, he has nothing more to say than 2 lines. The guy came out, said 2 lines, and then stood there. Absolutely ridiculous. What a disappointing way to start 2020 in the world of pro wrestling. What a terrible way for everything to be starting the road to WrestleMania. Now we have almost half the card already that I'm automatically disinterested in. I don't care at all. You have a main event featuring the two most overrated superstars in wrestling history. Bill Goldberg, as we talked about in the Super Shitdown review that went up earlier this afternoon. He's done nothing as a WWE superstar. He's a relic from the days of WCW when WCW was decent, and he was the one element of WCW that I didn't even like then. I liked Sting, I liked the NWO. I didn't watch WCW to see Bill Goldberg and his ridiculous stat-padded winning streak. That's not what I wanted to see. Just like I didn't want to see it now. An overused, oversaturated character in Roman Reigns versus an overused, overrated legend Hall of Famer in Bill Goldberg. And they're going to wrestle for the biggest championship in the company. The Universal Championship. I'll say pass. And then the fact that they book Roman versus Goldberg just because Roman says so. Guy comes out, hey, I say I'm next. I must be next. Beating Baron Corbin 100 times over the last 6 months is equivalent to winning the Royal Rumble or equivalent to winning the Elimination Chamber. Roman doesn't have to earn it. Absolutely ridiculous. I can't take it anymore. I really can't take it. SmackDown has become the bane of my existence. Monday Night Raw used to be one of the worst shows ever. And this past week, it wasn't the greatest show ever, but this is a whole nother can of worms. Bruce Pritchard has lost his mind. They don't even know how to tell stories anymore. They don't know how to book wrestling anymore. And if it is true that Vince McMahon's pulled him back a little bit now that the XFL's taken off and he's got his hands in too many cookie jars, then Bruce Pritchard is the one that needs to go. Because SmackDown has just been unwatchable. Insufferable. What you did to The Fiend is unforgivable. Putting Bill Goldberg back on top in 2020 is unforgivable. Bringing back John Cena in a match with The Fiend that means nothing to anybody except for Bray Wyatt. Unconscionable. This whole entire week with the WWE has just been a waste. And throwing that Thursday show in there really put me on a whole nother level right now. It's almost like the best thing about the Super Shitdown is it kind of woke me up. It kind of restored my mojo. It kind of got me back to where I needed to be. Because they shocked me back into this frame of mind. By putting Goldberg in this position. By bringing back Cena to do what he's about to do. By bringing back The Undertaker to fight AJ Styles. By bringing The Miz and Morrison back and reestablishing them as a tag team duo. Because the tag teams of today suck. It's all wrong. It's all wrong. And it's their own fault. Because they don't make new stars. WrestleMania 36 from Tampa. That should be the tagline. You got this show? Because we don't make new stars. I said a lot of what needed to be said about this SmackDown in the review earlier. And I tried not to repeat myself too much in case some of you guys tuned into that one. If you missed it, go check it out because it's raining down hot fire on the Super Shitdown, just like I did right here on SmackDown. There was nothing redeeming about this show. There is no reason for me to care. If you are one of the few fans that are into it and you like what they did here, good for you. I'm glad you're going to enjoy your road to WrestleMania. The rest of us are going to be on this dirt road, bopping around like this with the shit slamming us in the face. Shit like John Cena vs. The Fiend. Roman Reigns and Goldberg. Right in the face. To each and every one of us. And I'm not going to let it happen to me. You guys have to heed this call. Share this with everybody you know. If you're going to a WWE event, if you're going to suffer through a live show, bring a sign for Sledgehammer TV. Wear your shirt if you got one of the shirts. Most importantly, show your disapproval of this match. Do not cheer for Roman Reigns. Do not play into what Vince McMahon wants you to do here. Because then he's going to walk out, ha ha, I was right all along. You're all fired as fans. Do the right thing, guys. And maybe we can take a little bit of the power back and get some of this shit back under control. Thank you so much. That's going to do it. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's episode of the Smackdown review and reaction show, brought to you by your new favorite wrestling channel on YouTube, Sledgehammer TV. And we are accepting new members always. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button right now. Become one of the over 2,000 plus that know when you want your wrestling news bullshit free and full of fun and jokes and having some real quality entertainment while discussing the bullshit world of professional wrestling right now. Sledgehammer TV is the place to be. Stay subscribed, stay notified, smash that like button if I made you laugh, if I made you cry, if I made you understand why this episode of SmackDown was such a piece of trash. Hit that like button right now. Don't forget to share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world, especially if maybe they need to be educated on why this whole situation sucks and why SmackDown sucks. You know exactly where to send them. Follow me on social media. I was on fire all week long. On the Twitter, at Nick Nightmare is the handle. On Instagram, at Nick_Nightmare to follow me on a little bit more personal level. The Facebook fan page for the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show is always up and running, and that is a great central hub for all of you guys to get news and rumors, and when we got new stuff posted, it definitely shows up there as well. We are available in audio format. Spotify, Stitcher, Radio, iTunes, and Podbean, of course. Don't forget to listen wherever you like, or come right back here to your #1 YouTube channel for having a good time when talking about professional wrestling and bringing the hammer down when necessary. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the team. Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. His tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue, the Snowball, the most important member of the team as always. Each and every one of you. Don't forget to check out everything else we put up on the channel, including the Red Hot Fire edition of the Super Shitdown review and reaction show. That, my friends, is going to do it, and we are ready. And we'll see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com.